the 2014-18 Employee Living Program. And thanks for Simon again for his contribution to this program. If you have any extra money, just please help the people who need more. So I would like to share a few of the slides which I did the same presentation in different occasions. This is in Richardson YMCA, which I'm a board member. JA, as Jessica mentioned, I'm a long time, more than 10 consecutive years supporting JA. Boys Girls Club, I did 6 sessions this summer in Richardson Boys Girls Club. And this is for Dallas Youth Volunteer Association event, which I did in August. So 7 questions. So the very first question is, are top university scholarships merit-based? So for example, like HIPS, right? Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford. Those are the top universities. Are those universities merit-based scholarship? The answer is no, because everyone is qualified. So every year, about 15,000 national merit scholars, they all qualify for those schools. When is the right time to start college preparation? So some parents would say, my kid's only 10th grade, still have 2 more years to go, and I'm gonna warn you. The official college preparation starting 9th grade, okay? Because 9th grade start a cumulative GPA. So for example, regular class and AP class, there's 1 point difference. And if your child or your children in 9th grade in regular class, by the time graduate from 12th grade, I think not even will be considered at the top 10% rank, because if in regular class, basically the points is way lower than AP classes. So to push 1 grade earlier, 8th grade actually is better, because a lot of pre-AP classes start in 8th grade. Now, for the 12 states covered by Duke TIPS program, the actual starting grade will be 6th grade, because 7th grade will have for those 12 states, if your children is in the TIPS program, 7th grade will have SAT, which is not counted for your college applications. However, there will be 2 very meaningful statistics scores. One is overall in 7th grade, your child, the rank is at what percentage. Another one is compare your child with the college bound, which is 12th grade with high school seniors. So for example, my daughter was top 1% when she did a test compared with 7th grade, and top 87% compared with, top 13% actually, 87% was behind her. So compared with seniors. So that's about the college. When is the best time? I would say if it's covered by Duke program in those 12 states, 6th grade. Why 6th grade? Because 7th grade, if your child is doing very well on SAT, you will receive tons of information. Those information very valuable from all the outstanding colleges. So you will get a chance to explore all those colleges. Okay. How much can parents help? So today I think we don't have any 11th grade or from 8th to 11th grade students. We are mainly focusing on the parents. How much can parents help in college application? I would say up to 70%. Up to 70% parents can help. So I will share that with you in a moment. The fourth question is, does full score on SAT, ACT guarantee on top university admission? The answer is no. The top colleges not necessarily look for the highest score on the exams, but they are looking for the students who will be best fit their school culture. So that's But the answer to the fourth question, the answer is no. Question number 5, how much money, I mean the dollar amount, right, needed for a bachelor degree? So that's a lot of money. Both my kids went to private school colleges, right? Cornell and SMU, both private. So you are talking about $250,000. Any private school, I mean college, now about $40,000 for the tuition or above or more, right? Plus the living expense. For example, living in SMU is about $12,000 and $5,000 for the meal. So that's $17,000, then plus whatever the tuition is. So about $60,000. Then 4 years, you're looking about the $250,000. You can buy a house somewhere, right? So that's a lot of money. Now, don't worry. I will show you how you get the money. Okay? Question number 6. How important is personal branding in college application? My answer is extremely, extremely important. 6 and 7. Question 6 and 7 are very closely related. Yes?
Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you mean by the personal branding here?
Okay, very good question. You just hang on to it. Okay, I will go dig further.
Sure.
All right. So personal branding is very, very critical. And the number 6 and the number 7 very closely related. And the number 7 is what kind of applicants the colleges are looking for. Now, if your kids gotta go to college, you don't even know the college, what kind of candidates they are looking for, the applicants they are looking for, then you're in trouble. Because if you don't know where you're going, then you probably will misleading or give wrong directions to the children, right? So you need to find out what the applicants, the colleges are looking for. What they are looking for is actually the return on their investment. If you look at all, even public colleges, the tuition is increasing every year. Why? Because inflation. So the signal here is the tuition only barely covered the cost of those colleges. The colleges need way more money just to sustain. That's the reason why personal branding plays a role key here. Because the college is looking for the return on their investment, right? And if your children is in the pool they are looking for, then the chances will be very high to get accepted. So $250,000, that's a lot of money. But for the universities, that's only barely cover their cost. For 11 colleges, okay, Ivy League schools 8, plus MIT, Caltech, and Stanford, those 11 colleges, every year people donate money is more than the sum of all the public schools in the United States. Okay, the money, all the public universities get the money, the sum of them less than those 11 schools. So those schools are looking for the return on their investment. So it's very, very critical about personal branding. So now let's go with my personal branding. So any questions so far for those 7 questions? Open to the audience. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Here is the key. 4 characters. If the student or the applicants or the candidates for those universities have those 4 characters, that's sometimes could be like will take days to solve those problems. So those 4 characters could be very, very simple, but remember, simple is hard, right? Loving, if I say, well, honey, I love you, I get the feedback is, yes, I know. It's gonna hurt my feeling, right? Because love requires passion and compassion. Because if you get the answer, say, yes, I know, what's gonna happen? There's no compassion, right? So passion and compassion and patience after more than 30 years of marriage, I would say, not necessarily I love my wife more, but I know how to be patient, right? Just that's the key. So, and humble, of course, and play low key, and there's no reason for you to be somebody, and I will also cover that later on. And the commitment, stick with the story you said, right? You commit to it. The easiest thing to do in life is quitting. Forget it. I'm just gone, right? I'm out. So, loving, caring. Here's the picture I would like to share. My whole family was in the North Texas Food Bank back in 2010. So both my kids at one point worked for AT&T. So, and my daughter worked for AT&T 2011 and 2012, 2 summer interns, and my son did this 2014 summer intern in AT&T in US team. So anyways, caring, the first thing to do is understanding. Before you care for anything else, you first need to understand. Be a good listener, right? Then you take action, your dedication, your contribution, you helping others. That's how you care about others, right? Sharing. I couldn't find any better example about the birthday cake. The only person I know of was one of the episodes from Mr. Bean. He literally sent Christmas card to himself, right? Outside the door, drop it in. So, because nobody's gonna share that any special occasion with him. So that's one example. So birthday, you always like to share with others, and that's my son's birthday. So I think this is cool, right? You share with others. So again, sharing is you need to be unselfish, right? You consider about others. And teamwork, I versus us. So always think about us means there's a pool already, there are others, right? That's what I said, humble and think about others, always, those all related. So that's sharing and engaging. So this is the picture my son when he was in Liberty High School in Frisco, Texas. He got some awards, and the bottom there are 2 pictures. One is I'm at outside the school in Kimball High School, Dallas ISD, about less than 1 mile high from south of Westmoreland. If you're in Dallas area, you will know the dot from Plano Parker Road to Westmoreland, and there's the huge change there. That school, Liberty, is brand new school, right? Less than 10 years, and Kimball has been around for a long time, and you can see my background was a portable school, and on the right side, the picture is we did a summer intern, Dallas Mayor's summer intern for Kimball High School from AT&T Aspire Mentoring Academy, and some people in our room were also join force with that. So again, that's about engaging. If you say loving, caring, sharing, you got them all and you're not engaged, that didn't mean much. So get involved, community service, everything else. Okay? Any questions so far about personal branding? Loving, caring, sharing, engaging, those 4 characters about the branding. And which, yes?
So for the personal branding, to connect to all of those attributes, you want the potential candidate to participate in volunteering and to be in a leadership position, just to be a well-rounded student rather than just to focus strictly on academics or just to focus inward on yourself, right? You want them to do a multitude of things in high school to prepare for that application, right?
Great question,
Okay.
Dee. And Dee and I, we work together with the AT&T Aspire program, many events. So great question, yes. So the key is get your child involved, not only with academic excellence, but also with community engagement, think about others and helping others get involved. Good question. Okay, so then the next thing is about we're getting to the real meat, getting to the college apps. Okay, so how you reflect the self-branding into the college applications, right? There are two areas you can do. One is the essay. Okay, essay is also mandatory for college applications, and I will cover that later. Another thing is for interviewing. Okay, interview is optional. Some colleges admission will require interview, others don't. So then how you reflect is you don't need to be Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or someone rich and famous. You just being you, because you are unique. And when you reflect in the essay, anything like hate, jealous, those kind of keywords will trigger. So just like HR do the scanning for resumes, all right? So how many keywords will match the job request or requirement? Then those are the keywords area. I think you all know that. Positive attitude, be positive, and even in the negative environment, if you have positive attitude, you will drive positive results. So that's very critical. Good grammar, no misspelling. Those are very, very basic, right? And so now we are going to the Magnificent Seven. Okay, so that's the second seven today.
I may have a question.
Sure.
So, forgive me, this is the same.
The essay is actually almost standard. Now, the old days, the applicants sent essay to all different colleges. Nowadays, I think 98% of the college use common apps, which means one essay will fit all the colleges. And for each individual college, they will ask for some short essays, which means if for Cornell or for Carnegie Mellon, they will give you 3 questions. Okay. Then for UPenn Business School, they will say write one essay, say on page 267 when you're 65 years old. You look back your life, how would you write on that essay? So I would say about 1,000 words, and there's no picture. So only wording. Yeah, anywhere from 500 to 1,000, and I think about 2-3 pages. No more than that. Okay, for music CDs, and if you're a photographer, for any special areas, then yes, that will be separated. Essay is essay only. Admission of the college admission office, they will separate in groups. So, for example, one person will look at 1 or 2 items. It also depends on the college size. And they probably look at your leadership and the community engagement. So one person will take care of that. And the other person will look at your GPA and the rank. Because GPA and the rank, that's huge. Each school, they have a different system. And the college apps specialist, if they assign to this area, they know a lot of details in the area, critical. If say, well, my child got the 2400 SAT score, 35 on ACT, National Merit PSAT 236, almost full score. How come none of the Ivy League schools, is willing to take my child? Well, there's an issue there, right? Because one of the areas is that the candidate is not qualified. So it didn't get to the final round. It's very, very important. I'm going to go over each and every one of those 7 areas, okay? It's equally important. Nothing is more important than others. It's all equal. So the first one is GPA and rank, which means starting 9th grade. And the second one is standard tests. The third one, community service, leadership, recommendation, essay, and extracurricular. So let's start with the first one. Okay, now you see that's actually start 8th grade, right? Now, it's also very important because by 7th grade or 8th grade, the children are in the teens, right? Teenagers. And when I look back, when I was a teenager, I was very, very defined. So I know the whole world. And the parents say something like, well, I was actually, my father died when I was only 2. So my mom raised 5 children in the family. So yeah, I remember I gave my mom a lot of trouble back then. So work with the children and make sure they have the interest in certain areas. So for example, the child is very strong in English literature. You don't force the child to go to math or learn those skinny long essays like derivative, integral, those kind of stuff. No, don't do that. Just encourage the child working on whatever the child is comfortable. So make sure the child is interested in the subject and focus and have a certain goal. So career trends is actually all of the majority of the public high schools will do that in 7th grade, right? Assessment. So make sure that the interest is, and the team strategy, that's very, very important. And if I have time, I will share my son's story with you because it's my son is totally opposite from my daughter. My daughter is very gifted and self-driven. My son will try to get away whenever it's possible, right? So yeah, I will. So team strategy is very, very important. Any questions about GPA and the rank? Oh, by the way, Texas. If you want to go to, if the applicant want to go to UT, okay, in Austin, used to be top 10%. Now it's top 7%. If the child is not in top 7%, not will be considered by default, unless there's something outstanding, otherwise. Okay. So that's about the rank. Rank is very critical. My son, I'll give another example. His rank was top 13%. So that's why he went to another round, which went to another institute with no rank. So some of the schools don't have rank. Then that's another option. Just give some idea. Standard tests. Not necessarily full score on 2400. I think around 2200 all of the Ivy League schools will it will be okay. The PSAT, that's solely for the National Merit Scholarship Program, every year about 15,000. So then subject SAT used to call SAT2, biology, chemistry, history, math. Now for UPenn, business school, for math, there are 2 subject tests. One is math 1, the other one is math 2. So for UPenn business school, they only take math 2. So just give you some example. And most of the time it's all full score, which is 800. ACT and ACT, there's difference, okay? SAT is analytical based, which sometimes there's a little bit tricky. Could be misleading, and you look the answer is right, and when you pick it was wrong. But for ACT is knowledge based. Whatever the children have learned, just follow the rules, and we'll get the right answer. Okay. In the plan, there are a lot of college preparation institute out there, right? So the children can go there. And my daughter didn't go anywhere, just learned everything by herself. And my son, I did send him to one of those college preparation institutions. Okay, any questions? Community service. I love this. You know, I just, my passion, everything is there, and I really, from bottom of my heart, I thank Junior Achievement so much, because it helped me to today's level. I can speak in front of everyone, start with second grade. So when I speak, well, I was like speaking in front of a second grade class. I have no fear, right? Little children. Then when you practice more, then I said, forget about Toastmaster. I can speak now, right? So that requires more than 10 years of experience. Dedication, persistence. By that, the rule is about, for high school, about 100 community service hours, right? And 200 for some schools will give you a gold core, so which means outstanding community service. Now, some children will pick. Some of the hospitals, they provide 1 weekend community service for the so-called 2 days and 2 nights. They give you 48 hours community service, and there's shortcut. Some kids will do that. However, the downside of that is when the admission look at the college application, they will say, well, you know, that's just no passion, no dedication at all, right? Only just to fulfill those hours. If the candidate start in 9th grade, every other weekend or every once in a while, been to the old age home, the same old age home, couple weekends, you know, waiting constantly, just with certain persistence, just do that. That will make a huge difference, because again, going back to the return on investment, if the college admission look at that candidate, say those kind of boring job without pay, you know, that kid has been doing that. Someday, right? Someday, if the kid is very successful, we can really count on that kid. So persistence, dedication, commitment, because it's very, very critical. There's homework due, and SAT, ACT, or PSAT, a lot of tests coming, right? You can always, not you, again, it's for the children. The candidates can always find a reason, say, well, I'm so busy, let's skip this volunteer. Then there's commitment. If you already registered a sign up, stick with it. So very important. And communication. When you do community service, usually not alone, with a team of other people, and communication is a key. You know, you always work with other people and practice the communication skill. Leadership. I always quote myself as a good follower. I'm not a good leader, but I'm a good follower. I follow good leaders and learn from them. So if the candidate form a club and title himself or herself as a chair of the club in 12th grade or 11th grade without doing anything, the title means nothing. The college admission will look at the actual work the candidate has done. So title doesn't mean much, but again, engage. You actually do some work, and not just the leadership. Just say not small club. If say only a chair with some kind of fundraising with major nonprofit corporations, United Way, for example, that will give very high spotlight to the candidate. And I mentioned that there's stress, there's responsibility, things. There's as a leader, that's one level higher than a good leader start with a good follower. So, okay, recommendations. Now, most of colleges require 3 recommendations. Okay, one is from English teacher. One is from math or science teacher, and the other one is from the a high school counselor, or the principal of high school, or if the children in a special program like pre-college, then usually the dean of that program can write a recommendation. Now, before asking the teachers write recommendation, make sure prepare a good bio or good resume so the teacher can write based on what you have, because otherwise, how can I write a recommendation without knowing the candidate well, right? So that's very critical. Ask around. Sometimes the teacher could be very nice to you, very easygoing, and that could be very easygoing on your recommendation as well. Like only a few sentences. Oh, the student is outstanding. Excellent. That's it. So some teachers maybe very could be like hard on the students, say on the exams, on the homeworks, but they probably will write a decent recommendation. So do some research, ask the other parents or the other students who already graduated, say, will that teacher be a good candidate to write a good recommendation? Do some research, do some homework, very important. If the candidate is outstanding, for whatever reason, in one of the recommendation letters, saying, well, that child is very smart, but sometimes just too smart, and that's done. It will not be in the pool. Also, communication will also play a major role here for recommendations. Okay, heads up, give enough time to the teacher. Not like, oh, it's due tomorrow, can you write me a recommendation? As a matter of fact, I just received one. Someone asked me to write a recommendation due tomorrow. Just now. So follow up. And many cases, some candidates really sorry, just based on assuming. Well, I already asked someone, did a recommendation, it's done, Then after the college application is over, why I didn't get any acceptance letter or something? Oops. Then you call, the child or the parent could call the college. They said, we never received the recommendation letter. Now, those are the old days. Now it's much easier, it's online. And even if it's online, you need to check with the teacher, make sure it's submitted, right? If it's online, yeah, I did online, or for whatever reason, got disturbed or interrupted, didn't hit the submit button, and thought was done, actually it's not. So make sure, just heads up, follow up. So here's another 15%. The reason why I say parents can help up to 70% is parents cannot help on GPA. Parents cannot help on standard exams because the kids have to, to do the exams and to keep up the GPA, right? So those two areas. The remaining areas, parents can always help. Parents can help on research, find the other parents, their kids already went to college and how they get the recommendation, right? So, okay, essay. Those I just repeat the one we just look at. It's pretty much similar. Make sure it's unique, positive attitude. I several occasions when I did this seminar or presentation, some parents say, "Well, my kid's almost perfect," and because I mentioned there are many areas. For example, it's we are living in the imperfect world. Single parent, family, or economically disadvantaged, whatever reason, actually the candidate can write a much better essay than the kids in a relatively better family, because again, this is a return on the investment. If the admission look at the application, say that kid in some kind of not so great area, however, the kid strived really hard and got to today's level. Give you one example. Our chairman and the CEO, Randall Stevenson, he did first job shadow with a high school kid. The kid, I think now 2012, he was senior at rising senior at the UT. I think he graduated. And in one of the events, he sit next to Randall, and it was broadcast to the whole AT&T company. And Randall asked a question, "What are you gonna do later on?" Right? He said, "I'm gonna challenge your position." And he said he was in San Antonio back then. SBC's headquarters was there. He said, "I was wondering every day when I was going back home, I was wondering, could I just make it home today?" So there are pictures showing the area he lived. So he went to UT, and on that day he shared his experience. Right? He said some classmates asked him questions. He was shocked because that classmate was number 5 high school graduate, ranked number 5 in one of the best high schools in San Antonio. See, after a couple of years, you see the difference. He was from not so good high school, right? And the other one is from very good high school. You see the difference, right? So UT take that student, did not take chance. They look at that student, say there's potential return. So that's just from those environment, not so good environment, you can write outstanding essay and make people believe there's huge potential there, right? So again, this is challenge versus opportunity. So challenge is a good thing. You work on that, turn into opportunity. Extracurriculum applicants. For MIT, if the candidate got Siemens or Intel finalist, you're about halfway there, okay? It's very, very important. And also the ACDEC team, those for the national competition, that's all extra because it's not your school required. Give some example, and my daughter did a summer intern at the Nebraska University Medical Center, funded by National Science Foundation. So a lot of universities offer this kind of program. If you're in Dallas area, UT Southwestern, every year tons of students. So those almost I mean, mandatory. It's that's the reason why I said the 7 of them are equally important. Extracurricular. What's happening is all the candidates they have this kind of high rank, high score on the standard tests and leadership. They all have that. Then if one of the candidates compare with others, that candidate is a Siemens or Intel finalist, that will be the difference, right?
What about sports related? Is that also help?
That's also yes, because it's not related to school, like sports and music instruments. Those will and for Chinese, that's sad. If you're drawing, you are violin or piano, that didn't count because they say everyone can do it.
What does that mean?
Because my daughter played piano, my son played violin, and my daughter was winning Texas many awards, but it didn't count. I sent a CD. Thanks all for joining, and I really happy and to share my experience with you all. So if you have any questions, please email me. AU ID is SY2973. I think that's all.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you again for your time, and thanks for you willing to share all those valuable information with us.
We're in a great team. APCA is wonderful, right?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, Sammy.
thank you. Very good.